Britain has a housing crisis, but not entirely for the reasons that you've been told. I don't really need to tell you that the UK has a housing crisis, with rents now routinely exceeding a third of people's incomes and house prices now 7.7 times the median annual salary. You probably know that already. But we're often told that the key reason for this is simply that it is too difficult to build new homes. And that is a part of what's going on here. But yesterday I was reminded of a far more sinister aspect of all of this, which continues to baffle me is not talked about more. So back in 2023, the Competitions and Markets Authority, which is the UK's kind of anti-monopoly watchdog, undertook a pretty broad study of the house building industry to see how competition was and wasn't working in order to get homes built. And they found a couple of trends which should be far more scandalous than they currently are. The first is that house builders absolutely could be building houses quicker than they currently are, but they're aware that building too many homes too quickly could drop prices. The CMA thus found that house builders are intentionally building houses more slowly than they could in order to try and keep prices high. And this wasn't a massive surprise. Housing campaigners have been talking about this for years. What was slightly more shocking was that the CMA came into evidence that the biggest house builders in the UK were sharing information surrounding prices and build rates with one another. This, to be clear, can often be illegal because it can lead to price fixing and other cartel-like behaviours. Where this gets even more interesting is that when the CMA decided to undertake a full investigation into this potential information sharing, the 7 biggest house builders in the country opted instead to pay £100 million in funding towards affordable homes in the UK in order to avoid that investigation reaching its conclusion and making a final legal decision. Which means that we can't officially say that the UK's biggest house builders were acting like a cartel. We can simply say that they were willing to pay £100 million in order to avoid an investigation into whether that's what they were doing or not.